What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video, we're taking a look at some new stuff here in the Season of Might Mastery, and today's feature is going to be on Togetic with Psyshock. Togekiss also got Psyshock, but Togetic having Fairy Wind as its fast move enables it to be a little bit more flexible than its charming brethren. And in the back, we are going to be coring it with a Unovan Stunfisk, something else that got a bit of a buff in the way that Discharge, on paper, the stats seem to not be as great because it lost damage for a little bit less energy. But Stunfisk's pacing now being 5-4, the same almost as Mud Bomb here, is going to be very nice for it, as it's going to be on 5-4 pacing for Discharge. In the back, on the save switch, we're going to be trying out Claydol with Rock Tomb. This thing is an incredibly bulky Mud Slapper, doing very well as a way to bait out a Grass type or something that we would want to be getting out of the way for Stunfisk. So let's get into these games here. Checking out Togetic, Double Ground. I was building this team thinking, well, Wiggly Mud Slap is a thing, so let's try Togetic. And off we go into this first game with a Core Breaker. The Credilli is here, and it is extremely strong in this meta. I've tried it a couple of times in a couple of sets here. Credilli is so good, dude. If you have a Shadow, it's disgusting how much damage Rock Tomb does. And this is, I'm going to be forced to stay in here. I'm going to be trying to get rid of this thing neutrally, but if I can, I want to be able to get some energy somewhere. Now that the opponent has given up their lead here, they're going to swap into the Grumpig. And even though this thing has Shadow Ball, I can bring in Claydol and absorb one Shadow Ball after I throw the Rock Tomb. I'm going to go for the Rock Tomb here, maybe get a shield back. The opponent, though, likely not going to shield, but I can let this next move go. I should hopefully be able to farm down. I'm getting very close. We're going to be able to eat a Shadow Ball. I haven't seen how much damage it does yet, so we're going to find out together. Shadow Ball, you could even live a regular non-debuff Shadow Ball if you wanted to. So I really only, I have to shield one, I know, but we have a lot of energy here, and the opponent's going to come in with a Wigglytuff. They are hiding that in the back. Lots of dark types in the meta with the buff to, I wouldn't say the buff to Psywave, but lots of things here that have Psywave. Wiggly is just a natural thing that's going to come out to try and counter these things for people that are just trying to get wins instead of actually playing fun, skillful teams. Are just going to play, here, I'm going to tap my phone and play Wiggly. So it's all good, though. We're going to see the opponent now swap back into the Credilli, and they're low enough where the Psyshocks might be able to do it here. And they did have a move. They're going to throw it right away. I do get a Fairy Wind through, which is nice. I have to, dude. I have to go for these Psyshocks. I need to be able to hope that I can get to another one. And if the opponent has a Rock Tomb now, they either have to throw it right away or going to go down to the Psyshocks. The opponent actually decides to let it go here, saving the shield for their Wigglytuff. I'm going to go for this next Psyshock, and I'm going to hope to be able to get rid of this Credilli. Opponent saving the shield for the Wiggly, and it's not going to matter here. I'm unfortunately not able to swap out and have my move stored, but as long as the opponent does not get to a Swift before we get to the second Mud Bomb, we are going to be doing fine here. Going for the Mud Bomb as soon as we get there. And the opponent's not able to get to a move, so we're taking this game one. This team did really well. I think it did, what, 5-0, 4-1, something like that, or a couple of 4-1s. Did really well on stream yesterday. Togetic in the lead against Mandibuzz. Really nice lead for us here as we are the Fairy typing into the dark, and the opponent's going to come in with Steelix, and I'm just like, here, have a Claydol trainer. As Thunderfang is double resisted here, we dominantly win this matchup. It's just a matter of how much energy do I want to throw and when. But, of course, opponent has Breaking Swipe, and yet again, we get debuffed. I swear, my luck on debuffs is the worst. I can't find anyone else that has it worse than me. The opponent's going to be able to get to another one. Going to go for another Breaking Swipe. You know what? That's fine. I don't need to shield it. I know I don't. But they're going to get another debuff, because why not? Because why not? But we have Rock Tombs to be able to hit the Mandibuzz, and the opponent's never staying in against the Togetic anyway, especially after they have to take one, if not two Rock Tombs here, and we're going to be able to get to the second Rock Tomb to be able to CMP tie this Mandibuzz. It looks like they got one turn bringing, unfortunately, but I don't really think that it's going to make a difference in this matchup. I could be the guy who plays it nice and, does the thing that people, should do when you get one turn lag, but nobody else is that nice to me, so until they are, I'm not going to be that nice to them. So we have the Clodsire coming, opponent giving it up there, knowing they're going to take a loss to this game. Well played. I just completely hard countered them. There was really not much they could have done there. In the next game, we're going to have a decent lead here. They do have Stone Edge most likely, so I do have to be fearful of this, but hopefully Hopefully. Goodness, I'm yawning, dude. It's time for bed, dude. It's like 10:30 recording this after stream and all that. We're going to be going for the Gleam here, hoping to either fish the shield off the opponent, or even better, they let it go. Now they're going to come in with Drapion, and I'm going to answer with my Claydol. Not sure if this was the right move or not. Probably should have come in with the Stunfisk here, quite honestly, but I figure the Mudslapper is going to do fine here, right? Aqua Tail, nearly 2 shots. Opponent doesn't seem to have enough for a crunch here, so at least I was counting. I was pretty sure it was just an Aqua Tail. But hopefully we can farm down, right? Thought so, but no, on 1 HP. Opponent is able to survive, and I have no shields left. But thankfully we live this, but now I'm not going to be able to get to a second move. Bro, I'm down 0 to 2 shields, and they come in with the Quagsire. We're going to be going for the Scorching Sandstorm. I just got to be on a hope and a prayer that I have a chance against whatever's in the back. It's Credilli. I'm pretty sure I'm hosed here, but we're going to try anyway, right? Opponent going to be going for that Rock Tomb. They do have the energy for it. And I don't think there's really any realistic way that I'm going to be able to get through this thing. Oh, goodness. We're going to be going for the Gleam here after the debuff. The opponent is going to need to... Well, they don't have to do anything, man. They could literally no-shield this if they want to. They could literally just destroy my soul, and nobody would be the wiser, and that's exactly what they're going to do here. Credilli is just core-breaking me in this endgame, and I've said it before, dude. Credilli is just so freaking good right now. Credilli is absolutely absurd, and they completely just dominate me in the end game here, completely core breaking my team. This is a pick that you need to be aware of. Togetic, Stunfisk, Claydol, great fun team, did really well, but Credilli, you need to be aware of this thing. I was hoping maybe I'd get to the Gleam, but there's realistically no way, as they just throw this Rock Tomb here and they're going to take us out. So well played, good game. Getting into the next game as I'm trying to yawn off camera, we're going to have a Sableye in the lead. Very nice lead as we are able to hit for some pretty decent damage with the with the Fairy Winds here. But the opponent's going to swap into a Lapras. Our best response here, honestly, is Claydol. We are resisting the Psychic type Psywaves, and the opponent is going to be able to get our first shield. I don't know how much a Sparkling Aria does. I would rather find out after I get a debuff with Rock Tomb than not, but we're going to see what the opponent can get here. If they get to another one, which they will here, we're going to let this one go as it is debuffed. I'm pretty sure it's Sparkling Aria shouldn't be enough, and it's not. It's just like the Shadow Ball from earlier. And another opponent surviving on 1 HP. I'm going to go ahead and save my energy here. If the opponent comes back in with the Sableye, they do have quite a bit of energy to deal with here, and I should be able to get 2 moves without any issue, assuming the opponent doesn't try to CMP time me here, which they might, and they do, which is a very good play by them to recognize that I'm about to get to a move. Very nicely done here. And then I'm, again, down 0 to 2 shields. So the real takeaway here is that Claydol is not as good as we think it is in those situations where you farm down, because it's always 1 HP survives, man. I'm going to be trying to catch a move, but despite tapping it, the game did not let me swap, so I'm going to be forced to eat a Shadow Ball here. We're going to be going for a little bit of, not even an overfarm here. I don't know how much energy they have exactly. I just want to get this Gleam off or try to get the shield. And then we're going to come straight into the Stunfisk here as I'm trying to suppress the yawn, dude. This is why I don't like to record at 10:30 at night, but we do what we have to for the content, trainers. We do it. And we're going to be going for Mud Bombs. We should have back-to-back Mud Bomb here. And the opponent, if they're not at a move and they don't catch, which they don't, thankfully, we are going to be able to get the back-to-back Mud Bombs off. And then hopefully we're going to be able to outpace here to the move. And if we don't, the opponent throws right away. But we do have Togetic. New pacing on Psyshock, by the way. After you throw those Dazzling Gleams, the next Psyshock is 4, which we're banking on. Going for it. We could have farmed down, but I don't want to take the chance. Psyshock is going to be able to do enough double resisted damage here to take out the Sableye, and that's going to be a good game. Well played to the opponent. I cannot get over how close most of my games have been early season. Like, the actual skill level of the trainers that I've been facing has been incredible, and I just want everybody to be aware that this is just madness. So opponent's gonna swap into a Dusclops, and I'm just like, well, this thing has Ice Punch. This is bad. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna go for a Psyshock for just a little bit more chip damage, and then I'm gonna think about coming in with my Stunfisk here, just to try and shore up this matchup. I can take Ice Punches on Stunfisk. It has a really nice level of bulk to it. So the things that like Stunfisk can beat now with this discharge pacing, by the way, is just really nice. We're not going to need it here, thankfully, but you're going to see some games later on where the discharge pacing has been really helpful. I'm going to try to go for an overfarm, but the opponent gets to another move. The hex pacing is just insane, and I'm forced to shield, and I barely get to overfarm here because I'm almost at 100 energy. I could have gone for a couple more. But I'm going to go for an undercharge instead, opting to try and get some farm out of the situation, and thankfully we get one more Thundershock here, and the opponent comes back in with their Wigglytuff. I'm going to go for as much damage as I possibly can here. I'm really not super comfortable dealing with Wigglytuff, just for the fact that I kind of have to, deal with it with charge moves. I don't really have a good answer for it on this team, but Discharge is going to hit decently okay. Togetic's going to come in. The opponent is going to be able to go for an Icy Wind. I'm just going to let this go if it is the Icy Wind. I'm just going to try and trust in Claydol, knowing that if I come in with Claydol, they can't get to another move. And in comes Dust Noir. Good game, trainer. There's nothing I can do here, especially... It doesn't matter if this thing has Hex or if it has... If it has Astonish, which it does have Astonish, it's ripping through my Claydol. I have been completely and utterly hard countered in the back. There's nothing that I can do here. This is one of those situations, again, where maybe the Marowak could be better if you don't have a Claydol or don't want to use Claydol. I honestly think that Kanto Marowak would do just fine here, or even you could use your Cradily if you want to. So we take a measly 3-2 set here and move into the next one where we have Togetic against Weezing. Now, this is a nasty matchup because of the fact that this thing has access to Sludge. And again, I'm safe swapping into Claydol here. They have Brutal Swing. I'm shielding this because I would like to keep my Claydol healthy in case they have something in the back that we can help deal with neutrally. And they do have a Hakamo in the back, which is going to be forced to go for Dragon Tail / Dragon Claw here. And them not shielding that is quite nice. Now, I'm actually thinking at this point that going for the Rock Tomb is the ideal thing, because if they're going to want to win switch, they're going to go for a shield here. If I can, I would like to try to come in with my Togetic and maybe try and snipe, but I do also know they have quite a bit of energy here. They do shield. I'm going to quickly come in with the Togetic, and I have a couple of Fairy Winds worth of energy, which is going to be important here in a moment. We saw how quick we got to Psyshock in the last game. Opponent's going to come in with the Weezing. We're going straight for the Psyshock before they would get to the Sludge, potentially, and if the opponent knows this is Psyshock, they're going to have to shield, but they don't! And in comes Lapras, and because Lapras is no longer on Ice Shard, we're going to be able to safely take this fast move damage, and I have Unovan Stunfisk in the back with Discharge. If I can get a shield off this thing, that'd be even better. But unfortunately, the opponent not wanting to give it to me, but the energy gains in this game are kind of weird. Like, in this particular match, I was having some really weird, all night, honestly, I was having some really weird interactions with the way the game functions. It was some weird lag and stuff, but good game to the opponent. Stunfisk doing literally nothing in that game other than sitting there with its pom-poms in the back. We have another game here against Corsola, Galarian Corsola. People are still attached to the fact that they built this thing. You know what? I don't blame them. They spent enough dust on it. We're going to go for the Dazzling Gleam here, and I'm actually going to look to try and see if I can make a cheeky little catch on Claydol. Going to go for one move, and then the swap, and we're going to be able to hopefully catch a move here on Claydol, and it was the Power Gem catch. We did catch the damage, but opponent does have super effective Ghost-type damage, and apparently, Galarian Corsola wins Charge Attack priority against Claydol. I don't know how that works, but I have to shield now, and unfortunately, we cap tie, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of this thing at this point. If they shield, great. If they don't, oh well. Opponent is going to come in with their Kanto Marowak here. And we are looking okay as long as Togetic can stay on this thing. I'm going to go ahead and let this go, hoping maybe that there's some way I live it. But Bone Club's going to take us out here, and Togetic's going to come back in. Opponent has Drapion. We're down a shield, and Aqua Tails will add up, but the opponent needs at least 3 to knock out, and we can save our shield here. What I'm hoping to do here is get both shields off the Drapion, and then also afterwards maybe not knock it out with the Dazzling Gleam. If I can save my shield for the Togetic, I have a pretty confident chance of winning here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for these Mud Bombs, get both these shields, and let the opponent try and knock out my Stunfisk. And I'm just going to make sure that I throw right before they get to their Aqua Tails so that they can't CMP tie and win, and then get rid of my Stunfisk or force me to shield here. So we get both shields off of this thing. Opponent goes and tries to make a swap, and they successfully snipe down my... It successfully sniped me down, and I thought I swapped quick enough, but game said, nope, you're going to stay in. Take that damage. Opponent goes for the Rock Slide. I'm over farming to max energy here. Going for the Dazzling Gleam, hoping that this is going to be enough to knock out a Shadow Cancel Marowak. It is stab damage. We have much better pacing on the Gleam now, and the opponent cannot knock us out unless they have Sludge Bomb here. Aqua Tail would do quite a bit, but it's not going to be enough. Togetic is fairly bulky here, and we're going to be able to get to the Gleam. Is this going to be enough? Because if it is, I'm hitting this button, and if not, we're going to be sad. It's not, but the Fairy Wind after is just enough, and on 1 HP, Togetic pulls off the victory with that farm down. Getting into the next game, we got Clodsire on the lead. Not a good lead here, as we do have the opponent's poison typing being a bit of a pain for Togetic. But again, this is why I really like Togetic and the fact that it now has Psyshock. It has a way to hit back the poison types, and I feel like that really propels it into a very nice lead where, like, even if you lose lead to a poison type, now what you can do is you can go ahead and just get a farm down and go for some Psyshocks. Now, I shield here thinking maybe they full send the Shadow Ball, but of course, they go for the Surf Bait. Now they're going to go for the Shadow Ball. As always, I'm sure. But Shadow Ball is not enough to knock out after the Rock Tomb debuff, thankfully. So we're going to be able to go for yet another Rock Tomb here and lower the defense, or no, the attack, sorry, of the opponent's Jellicent. They're double debuffed. We can come in with Togetic. The Fairy Winds are doing a decent amount of damage. I'm going to commit to the full farm down here if this Shadow Ball does not do enough damage to really threaten me. And it does not. We're fully farming down here, and the opponent, unable to get to a move, is going to go down to that Fairy Wind damage. And we're going to be going for the double Psyshock here into the Clodsire, and then swap straight into the Unovan Stunfisk. If I can, I would like to see if I can get a shield the opponent, taking a lot of damage from this exchange, and then they're going to have to make a choice, and they shield the Psyshock. 1-0 shields. Can Stunfisk come in? Stunfisk is going to be able to live any one move here, and I'm going to let that go and save the shield for Togetic, because once again, I'm more likely, like, if the opponent is leading a poison type, they're more likely to be weak to Fairy in the back. So I'm letting this go and saving my shield for Togetic, knowing that it's going to be fairly easy for me to be able to get to a Psyshock against this thing later in the game. But the opponent goes for a very interesting bait and then goes for the Earthquake, and I could have overfarmed there knowing that they had just thrown Sludge Bomb and an Earthquake pretty much right away, but I'm just like, I want to get rid of this thing, and the opponent has a Drifblim. If I had overfarmed, I would have been in a really good spot here. Now I'm going to have to try and play a game of can we get to the move, and they're on Astonish with Drifblim, so thankfully their pacing is a little bit worse than ours. We're going to be able to lock in the Gleam, and now it's going to be up to Togetic. Can we once again farm down the opponent? Icy Wind is going to get our shield. Can we farm down? Yes, we can. Having Stunfisk in the back means we win that game, even though there was a Simul KO. Good game. Next game, we're going to be locking in leads, and the opponent's got a Sableye in the lead. Very nice for us here, and the opponent's staying in, which is also fine with me. The opponent here is going to be looking to either bait or go for the Dazzling Gleam. I don't want to take a chance here because my backline is not particularly appreciative of this thing, but opponent is going to go for that Gleam and then bring in their Lapras. I'm going to go for the Gleam of my own here and then look to come in with my Stunfisk, knowing that, once again, I can probably live the Aria, but we are going to have to suffer the Aria right now. Because we threw that one Fairy Wind. They're going to have enough energy, but we can get to the double up on discharge. That new 5-4 pacing coming in clutch here, because if the opponent wants switch advantage, they're going to have to double down their shields, and I'm going to go ahead and make them try to do it. I'm not going to overfarm anymore here. If they shield a second time, I know that I can go for another discharge. I can safely shield if I want to. And honestly, I'm okay with shielding here, because what I can do is I can overfarm possibly if I want to. I'm not sure where the energy's at, and the opponent swaps out anyway to catch the discharge on Sableye. Nice play by the opponent, but we're going to be able to come in with Togetic here, and if I can't farm down, I know that this is just a foul play because they just threw a Gleam. So we're going to be safely able to take this damage and fully farm down, and the opponent shields down into Togetic and Claydol. The opponent comes in with their Lapras. I'm going to be going for one more Fairy Wind and then the Psyshock to be able to hope this knocks out. Psyshock doing less damage, but actually, no, it's the same damage as it's always done. It's just less energy. But now we're going to be able to lock in a Gleam. The opponent has the Kanto Marowak in the back. We have a full HP Claydol if we need it, and we're going to be able to go for the next Gleam here. Opponent trying to overfarm, hoping that they're able to get to a Rock Slide plus some to be able to deal with whatever's in the back, but not for their benefit. We're going to be able to take out with Togetic. Good game. Loving Togetic, dude. This thing is actually really fun. Now, we take a really awkward lead in this next game. Big Daddy Blastoise coming in here, and we are going to be in a really awkward spot. I have to shield here. I don't have a choice. Thankfully, we resist rollouts on the Claydol, but I'm really kind of hoping they swap, and they swap into Dragalge. This is a crazy swap into me. They have shield advantage, but I have so much energy. We can go for one Rock Tomb, and the opponent would actually be able to get Aqua Tails off here. I'm thinking of trying to farm down. I know I can live one move here regardless if they're going to go for the Sludge Bomb, Aqua Tail, what have you, but after one more Dragon Tail, I'm definitely in danger of getting farmed down, or not farmed down, getting taken out by an Aqua Tail. So I'm going to go ahead and commit my shield, go for the farm down. Since they shielded, I'm more okay with shielding, and the opponent sends in a Grumpig. This is going to be a difficult situation to maneuver. Grumpig up a shield here, looking really strong. I'm going to go for the Rock Tomb, hoping that maybe this gets the shield and we'll be able to do something with it. But the opponent not shielding, and then they're going to come in with the Blastoise. I'm going to apply some Mud Slap damage and now force them to farm down. Or not farm down. I'm going to force them to throw energy, or I'll be able to get a ton of damage in with the dude, I'm falling asleep, man. My commentary is sometimes okay. Today, apparently, it's just flown out the window. We're going to be going for a discharge into this Blastoise, and then look to farm up one more move, go for the swap, catch the Hydro Cannon, and these hands, because the opponent still has a Grumpig with energy in the back. They're going to be able to go for a Skull Bash or the Ice Beam. They're going to go for the Bash. They're going to catch the Psyshock. Oh, Grumped on the Grumpig, man. Psyshock not doing a lot here. The opponent's going to farm down, but they know they're hosed in the back from the Unovan Stunfisk, I suppose. So good game to the opponent. We're going to be able to pick up a sick 5-0 set to finish this one off. And this team really did cook well on stream. I think that Togetic is really strong in this new season. And I think that maybe the supporting cast, Claydol probably could have been a little bit better. Claydol just like, it's bulky, but its psychic typing actually feels like it hurts it right now, because everybody's gunning to counter the Psywave users, and by default, you know, I don't know what the word is, but basically just because you lumped in with the rest of the Psywave users as a psychic type, you're now kind of susceptible to the ghosts and the darks and things that are going to be out there. But that's okay, because this team, I think Unovan Stunfisk and Togetic make a really nice core. So let me know in the comments what you think you'd rather use on the safe switch. I think Kanto Marowak would probably be just fine here. But overall, had a lot of fun with the team. Let me know what you think. Thanks as always, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.